We need to encourage innovative ideas that give parents better alternatives to prepare children for higher education and for the jobs of the future. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I'm not going to roll back anything. Nothing is going to change with respect to reproductive rights. Supporting iconic, growth-oriented industries, combined with tax policies that encourage small business growth and investment, represents a potent combination and is the basis of our entire administration. I was talking to Marylanders. What we were hearing, everywhere, was an overwhelming sense of frustration. People felt a huge disconnect between Annapolis and the rest of Maryland. It's a tragedy. It was tragedy for Freddie Gray and the family. It was a tragedy for the city. And we're still trying to figure out how it happened and why it happened. You can disagree without being disagreeable. That's always been my mantra. I try not to make it personal, and I don't care about partisan politics one way or the other. Make no mistake, restoring our economy is very much a women's issue. I've made it very clear that building, maintaining, and fixing Maryland's roads and bridges is our top transportation priority, and it is a top priority of our administration. People don't care about questionnaires. For years, I have repeatedly said that Maryland taxpayers were being overtaxed and overcharged. I have nothing to do with Donald Trump. The joke around my office is that I've shaken many hands, but I've petted more dogs. Too often, we see wedge politics and petty rhetoric used to belittle adversaries and inflame partisan divisions. The problems we face aren't Democratic problems or Republican problems. These are Maryland's problems. If you want my answer about Donald Trump, you can Google it. It's everywhere. They've got this new thing called Google. I'm not a Trump fan. I don't think he should be the nominee. I get asked that almost every day, but I've been saying the same thing. I'm not going to take any more stupid questions about Donald Trump. It's not what I focus on every day. Crime is out of control in Baltimore City. We want people to have the right to express their concerns and frustration and protest in a peaceful manner. I've had completely gray hair since, 30. We're the first not white family to ever live in the governor's mansion. My son-in-law is Puerto Rican. I have a beautiful little granddaughter who is half Korean and half Latina. I'm the only white guy in the house. Creating sustainable jobs means doubling down on Baltimore's formidable strengths. I love Baltimore and the people who call it home, and I sincerely believe that Maryland's biggest city must serve as the economic and cultural heart of our state. Baltimore residents deserve a commitment from leaders to deliver meaningful changes and the possibility of a better future, and so does every Marylander who loves our great state. Let's find those areas where modest and reasonable tax cuts will have the biggest positive impact on our economy, and which will improve the lives of those who need it most: working families, retirees, and small business owners. In addition to reining in spending, taxes, tolls, and fees, let's rein in how much the state borrows. Let's set aside political gamesmanship and work together for the sake of our children. Marylanders are among the nation's hardest working and most educated people. We have universities and schools that are among the best in the nation. No state can match the beauty of the Chesapeake Bay, our beaches and farms, or the mountains of western Maryland, the port of Baltimore, or the historic charm of every corner of our state. I believe that every child in Maryland deserves a world-class education, regardless of what neighborhood they grow up in. I'm a pretty plain-spoken guy. I could stand to lose some weight. A lot of people have it tougher than I do. We are not opposed to public transportation. We are opposed to wasteful boondoggles. The legacy of the Freddie Gray unrest? I think that remains to be determined. School after Labor Day is now the law of the land in Maryland. We are going to have to make some very difficult choices, because state government cannot continue to spend more than it takes in. To see the faces and hear the voices of victims of the Holocaust, one of the darkest chapters in history, was an experience I will never forget. In Maryland, we have the unfortunate distinction of being the most gerrymandered state in the entire nation. I've never supported 1 penny of tuition increases. We don't have a revenue problem in Annapolis. We have a spending problem we need to control. Women are the heads of most households in our state and make the most financial decisions for their families. It doesn't matter to me if someone is a Republican or a Democrat. I'm going to be the governor for all Marylanders. The polls and the pundits and the media seem to talk to each other. It's sort of like an echo chamber. Every single day, everywhere we went, people were coming up to me and Boyd repeatedly and saying, "We're lifelong Democrats, but we're voting for you. We've never voted for a Republican in our life." Politicians make phony promises all the time that they can't deliver. We're a nation of immigrants. To those who would divide us or drive us to the extremes of either political party, I remind you that Maryland has been called a state of middle temperament. Our politics need that middle temperament as well. It is only when the partisan shouting stops that we can hear each other's voices and concerns.